companies and businesses and church organization leaders, we find ourselves out of balance. How do you plan, plot, and strategize so that you can accomplish more, achieve more, while at the same time remaining in good balance for your life in the 6 core areas? That's what we're going to be focusing on today. So I need you to do me a huge favor. Comment in the chat where you're from. Drop the name of your business and or your brand. Smash that share button, ladies and gentlemen, and let's kick it this morning. Yo, what's up, Ultimate Hustlers, and welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show, the business podcast for the entrepreneur of the 21st century. And I'm your host, Cortez Hustle. Our goal is to give you a behind-the-scenes look at how the world's greatest hustlers build amazing brands, scale their businesses to incredible heights, sell more, make more, and create mass movements that impact the world. It doesn't matter if you're a seasoned vet or you're sitting on the sidelines with aspirations to one day unleash your inner hustle. This show will provide the insights into how pure grit, determination, and hard work has morphed into some of the most iconic brands and personalities and how they are moving the culture forward. You'll get a mix of solo shows featuring yours truly, as well as interviews and content from other hustlers that I either know personally or I've learned from or whose grind I've come to know and respect. And you'll also get exclusive recordings from our membership called Monetize My Life Academy, which you can check out at monetizemylifeacademy.com. That's a program where we go live every month with some of the best hustlers on the planet, sharing best practices on how we all can explode our brands with advanced branding and marketing tactics, business development strategies, and financial game planning necessary to build the empires we all desire. Again, that's at monetizemylifeacademy.com. If you like today's episode, chances are the hustlers you're connected to will like it as well. Share it with those in your network. And when you do, use hashtag Cortez Hustle so I can see you and hopefully give you a shout out and share you in my stories. So check out today's episode and make sure you subscribe to the feed on your favorite podcasting networks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cortez Hustle Show. I am, of course, your host, Cortez Hustle, everybody's favorite SaaSpreneur, coming to you live and direct from the Black Biz Success Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you are an entrepreneur and you're trying to grow your business, you need the right tools, the right templates, and the right training to do that. The Black Biz Success app delivers on all of those things. Right now, we have a very special offer for you. You can get any of our plans for the first 30 days for just 10% down. That's as little as $9.70 to get the tools and resources that you need to grow and scale your business. Go over to Black Biz Success at blackbizsuccess.com and check it out for yourself. Welcome to the show today, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking leadership, man. The 5 Pillars of Leadership is a book review that we're doing. This is a multi-part series. I believe this is episode number 4 in the series, where we're going to focus on the planning phase of leadership, right? How do you plan? How do you set goals? How do you be strategic while at the same time not losing balance, right? We're going to talk about the 6 areas of life that you should be trying to maintain some level of balance. So comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, smash that share button if you are familiar with the show. If you're not familiar with the show and this is your first time, I don't ask you to share. I ask you to consume the content first and then determine if I have earned the right or your worthiness to share with your followers. Because I don't know about you, I protect my fans. I don't share just any old thing with them. I only share the good, right? Chloe Johnson, good morning. Welcome to the stream today. So a couple quick announcements before we get the show underway. The Black Biz Success app, man, we are literally having extending our Labor Day promotion. So for a limited time, 10% down on any of our plans. You guys know our plans go from $97 to $497 per month. You could literally test drive any of those plans for 10% down. So $970, $29.70, or $49.70. You could literally get access to some of the most critical tools that every business owner needs to grow and scale their business with the right amount of automation where you can add a high tech to your business without losing your high touch. That's blackbizsuccess.com. Make sure you guys go check that out. Also, for those of you who've been trying to figure out how to add another stream of revenue to your household, if you're interested in software, in technology, in sharing and serving small businesses in a special way to help them grow and develop, this coming Saturday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, we are hosting our very first How to Launch a Software Company for Free webinar. That's right, our very first How to Launch a Software Company for Free webinar. It's an amazing opportunity for those of you who love social media, you love marketing, you love working with small businesses, and you want to build a business of your own with some monthly recurring revenue and be of good service to the communities in your local area, then yeah, I need you to comment keyword webinar if you're interested, and I'll make sure that you get the link to sign up for that. But that's going down this Saturday. So Glow says, I am currently building my brand, my business license to transact business finally came. I love it. I love it. I love it. Right. Super excited and always thankful for the gems dropped. I appreciate you, Glow. You're the reason that I get up and do this every morning, because we're all looking for that edge. We're all looking for some insight. Sometimes we're out here in these entrepreneurial streets and we by ourselves. So it's good to tap into somebody with good energy who are is on that same path, on that same journey, and providing some insight to help you. And that's why I'm here. So super excited to have you here. So let's officially start the show, man. Y'all know how we start every show here on the Cortez Hustle Show. We literally start with the quote of the day. I'm going to share a quote. If you have a favorite quote that you would like to put in the comments, feel free to do that. And I'll try to read as many as I can. But the quote of the day says this: if you can focus, you can succeed. But if you cannot, you cannot. That's by the legendary Brian Tracy, right? I want y'all to think about what he's saying, man. If you can focus, right? He told a story about Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Bill Gates Sr. all sitting at a dinner table, and somebody asked the question, what is the number one thing that you need in order to win in business, right? And he said all three of them turned around at the same time and said, focus, right? At the time, Bill Gates was the richest man in the world. Warren Buffett at the time was the second or third richest man in the world. And then you got to love Bill Gates Sr., right? He is the one who raised Bill Gates, right? So he got some significant impact as well. And all three of them agreed that in order to win in business, and I would say not just in business, in life, you got to know how to focus. You got to know how to block out distractions. And I'm learning this, man. And sometimes distraction comes in many forms, right? What's up, Brian? I see you. Good morning. Distraction comes in many, many, many forms. And sometimes distractions, that some of the biggest distractions that we have as entrepreneurs is doing well things that need not doing at all. Oh, I didn't mean to step on your toes. I'm sorry, right? One of the biggest distractions that we have as entrepreneurs is taking the time to do something extremely well that need not be done at all. And you've got to learn how to focus, weed out distraction, get down to the 20% of the activities that brings in the 80% of your results, and put your blinders on, put your head down, and go hard at those things, right? So Glow put a couple quotes in. Let's see. Glow says, always be a student in life, be knowledgeable and disciplined. I love that quote, Glow. She has another one that says, have faith in God and all things shall come to fruition. I certainly believe that, but you know that the faith in God is only the beginning, right? Because how do you prove that you have faith? right? This is where a lot of people miss it. How do you prove that you have faith? The proof that you have faith is found in the action that you take. See, if you truly believe in something, you truly have faith. Like I have faith that I'm building a multi-billion-dollar international media conglomerate, starting with this podcast. That's why I show up every day, right? See, I believe that it's going to happen. I believe that God has made this part of my mission, right? Part of his plan for me. I believe that. But to believe it alone and not show up and do the work is a fallacy, right? Faith without works is dead. Work is the proof that you have the belief and the faith. Because if you truly believe, if you truly have the faith, then you'll do the work on your part. You'll do the possible. See, God ain't in the business of doing the possible. God is in the business of impossible. You got to do the possible. And then he puts the impossible on top of that. When you go as far as you can humanly go, then he helps you get that extra mile. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the quote of the day right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by the Black Bear Success app. Take advantage of our Labor Day promotion, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have an autoresponder in your business, if you don't have a dedicated business phone number, if you don't have a CRM, if you don't have sales funnels, if you don't have a solid website, if you don't have pipelines, if you don't have a calendar booking app, if you don't have some of the automated tools that help you streamline your business, check out blackbearsuccess.com. It is the only all-in-one sales and marketing software solution specifically designed with Black business owners in mind. Blackbearsuccess.com. Y'all make sure y'all go check it out. You can get any of our plans for the first 30 days for 10% down. That's as little as $9.70 to try us out and see if we don't make your business better. All right, so we're talking leadership, man. I'm excited about this topic because this is something that, as I tell you guys all the time, I'm talking to myself. You guys just get to hear me talk out loud. Every episode that I do of the Cortez Hustle Show is me talking to myself. So when I say I'm stepping on your toes, really, I'm stepping on my own toes, because these are things that I am struggling with. These are things that I'm focused on getting better at. These are areas that I'm working on, and leadership is one of them. When I look over my life and I think about how far we've come, as grateful as I am, I realize that if I had been a better leader, we could be in a different place today. And I got to own that, right? I've got to own and be self-aware and be accountable, right, for all the things that I am and all the things that I am not, right? And I know that I could be a better leader. That's why I'm focusing on not only learning leadership, but one of the best ways to learn anything is to teach it. So that's why we're doing this series. So it helps me cement these principles in myself. So the 5 pillars of leadership, we spent a little time on pillar number 1, which is clarifying your thinking. Right now, the second pillar we're going to spend some time on is plans and balance. Right, just as a sprinter has a finish line to cross, so every individual from leader to follower has goals to attain. Written plans are essential if you intend to push your goals beyond the realm of daydreaming. That's right. If they're not written, they're just daydreaming, right? And I keep trying to tell myself that, yeah, they're written in my head. They're written in my head. No, that's just daydreaming, right? With plans clearly detailed and carefully drawn out, you cut through any confusion your own thought process may have created. Whether you consider your leadership journey a sprint or a marathon, written plans allow you to convert theory into practice, thought into action, and dreams into reality. How many of you guys have written plans, right? You've taken the time to write out your goals, write out your plans. It is critical, and I'm learning day by day. I'm still struggling to make journaling an everyday part of my life, right? But I'm getting there. I realize it's important, and I believe it can truly help me. But it's just creating the habit, right, is what I'm struggling with at this present moment. But I refuse to give up, right? The importance of written plans. Developing written plans carries with it an impressive benefit. It minimizes the tendency to procrastinate. Well, look at God, right? One of the things I struggle with is procrastination. And here is the answer. If you write the plans down, right, you minimize the tendency to procrastinate. If you are unable to write something down, you cannot crystallize it. If you cannot crystallize a goal into a written plan, you will probably never make the goal a reality. I think that's worth reading again. If you are unable to write something down, you cannot crystallize it. If you cannot crystallize a goal into a written plan, you will probably never make the goal a reality. Written plans for achieving goals are often works of art in and of themselves. Typically, written plans contain these 5 essential elements. Number 1, the goal. Written in a clear, concise manner. What is the goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Number 2, a deadline or a target date for the achievement of the goal. Do your goals have a deadline? Number 3, a summary of benefits to be gained and losses to be avoided as a result of achieving the goal, right? So right there inside of your plan, you have the motivation. Hey, here are the things that we can gain, and here are the things we can avoid losing if we execute this plan. Number 4, a summary of possible obstacles to the achievement of the goal, along with written strategies for overcoming these roadblocks. This right here is so important, right? Because a lot of times we expect everything that we attempt to do to just be easy and a cakewalk. And we never really plan for challenges to show up. And because we don't plan for the challenge to show up in the first place, we certainly don't have contingency plans on how we're going to deal with said challenge, right? It's interesting to really pay attention. I was listening to some Eric Thomas yesterday, and he asked a question. He said, what is the first thing that you are taught when you go to the military, right? Go to boot camp, you go to basic training. One of the first things you're taught, so there's 2 things that they teach you right out of the gate, right? He said they teach you how to respond when your gun jams, and they teach you how to carry a dead body, or not necessarily a dead body, but an injured comrade. And he said, you know why they teach you those 2 things right out of the gate? Because that's worst case scenario. And a lot of times people never think worst case scenario. So when it happens, they're not prepared. So right out of the gate, they're teaching you that, hey, this is war. Your buddy, your bunkmate might catch one. So you're going to have to put him over your shoulders, and you're going to have to carry him not only effectively, but efficiently, because guess what? You still got to fight. So there's a way that we're going to teach you how to get your fallen comrade off the battlefield. chances are your gun won't jam. But if it does jam, the last thing we need you to do is stand there in a panic. So let me teach you how to deal with a jam gun, right? When you are building and creating and crafting your plans, you, my friend, have got to think through. And some people will say this is being negative, right? No, it's not being negative. I'm thinking through the things that could possibly go wrong, not because I want them to go wrong, but so that I can prepare that if they do go wrong, I'm not going to let that stop me. Critical, right? Everything is not a tiptoe through the tulips. Everything is not all peaches and cream. You've got to anticipate that, hey, here's the goal, here's where I'm going. But if I travel down this road and for whatever reason, the bridge is out, the road is blocked, what am I going to do? Because if you don't have a contingency plan, I will tell you what you're highly likely to do is quit and give up. So you got to think about that. And then number 5, every plan has a step-by-step plan for the achievement process. Putting goals on paper serves as a commitment to achievement. Successful people rely on written plans as guideposts in the quest to develop each area of life. For one to become an extraordinarily successful leader, written plans are the second essential element. Crystallizing your thinking is first. And then if you've gone through the process of crystallizing your thinking, then you got to get those thoughts on paper and an organized plan. And those are the 5 elements of a plan. So we're going to continue to talk about this leadership deal. We're going to get into the challenge of balance and the 6 areas of life you should be fighting for balance. I have a unique take when it comes to balance. I'm going to share that with you guys as well. But before we get into any of that, it's time for my favorite part of the show, which is 1 Minute Motivation. If you're new to the Cortez Hustle Show, 1 Minute Motivation is where we play a short motivational clip, usually 60 to 90 seconds or so. I'm going to ask you to comment your takeaways. I'm going to give a couple takeaways. I'll read as many as we can, and then we'll shout out our sponsor for the day. So if you're with me, say I'm with you, and let's get into 1 Minute Motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show.
I'm going to tell you what God has given every person under the sound of my voice. He's given you a dream. Dreams motivate us. Dreams energize us. In all of your getting, get a dream in your life. Get it from God, and then you become unstoppable. A dream is the inward picture of the future you desire. And don't underestimate it. And don't act like it's not important. And don't act like it's not spiritual. God is the giver of dreams. And when God is going to do something in your life, He'll give you a picture first on the inside of where you're going before you ever get there. And He says, live into that dream.
You know, when God gives you a dream or a vision for your life, it's not something that you can just get away from. It's like it's there to stay, and you're either going to do something about it or you're going to be pretty miserable.
Sometimes it feels like it's just some idea that can never happen. Sometimes it feels like a distant dream. Do you know that even with your imagination, that you are serving God? The Bible tells us, one of my favorite scriptures in Ephesians 3:20, it talks about how God is able to do beyond all that you can ever ask, think, and imagine. God can go beyond that exceedingly, abundantly, far above all of it. You may feel like you're just sitting down and all of a sudden you get lost in this idea of who you truly are in God, and you think that you're just daydreaming, not recognizing the Holy Spirit is dreaming with you. The Holy Spirit is actually showing you the truth of what is possible and what is able, what you are able to walk in because of your relationship with God.
Hoo-wee. Ladies and gentlemen, what are you doing with the dreams that you've been given? I posted today's picture, right? I'm trying to get better at just communicating some different stuff about me. And every morning before I work out, I kind of snap a picture and I try to post something positive to encourage people. And today's post said, I don't fear failure, but I'm terrified of regret. I will not wake up 80, 90 years and say, I wish I would have given it my all. If I ask you this question, and some people say it's a trick question, right? Is an acorn an oak tree seed, or is it an oak tree? I want you to think about that. If you take an acorn, right? Some people say, well, this is the seed of an oak tree. I say, it's not a seed of an oak tree. It's an oak tree waiting for the right environment and circumstance. Because everything that oak tree needs to become an oak tree is already present. It just needs to fall into the right amount of darkness, be shone on with the right amount of sunlight, and get the right amount of water. And it's going to manifest into an oak tree. That dream that you have, whatever it is that God has shown you, He's already given you the tools, the resources, the resolve, the intellect, the wisdom. He's already given you everything that you need to be successful at it. Some of us, though, have got to grow into the armor, right? We've got the tools that we need, right? But for some of us, that the sword is too heavy for us to wield, right? I think about the movie Conan the Barbarian, right? And it started out as Conan was this little weakling, right? And he was a slave. And they made him do this work. And as bad as he wanted to escape, as bad as he wanted to break out, he just wasn't strong enough to pick up the sword. He wasn't strong enough to wear the armor, right? But in doing the work of a slave, his body developed physically to the point where he was finally able to pick up the sword. He was finally able to put on the armor. You already have what it takes. Some of us just got some growing to do, right? So don't blow off your dreams, right, man? Talk about the imagination, right? In the scripture that said God can do above anything that I can imagine. I just think about how vivid my imagination is, right? And then that God can go so far beyond my wildest imaginations, right? It takes the same amount of energy to dream big as it does to dream small. So why on God's green earth would you dream small, right? The truth of what's possible. Have you begun to accept the truth of what's possible in your life? I have. And I'll be the first to admit that I have spent a lot of years of my life denying that truth of what's possible for me, denying the truth of what I deserve, right? I spent a lot of time denying what's possible, denying what I deserve, denying what I have the potential to achieve based on my God-given gifts, talents, and special abilities. Spent a lot of time in denial. It's no longer the case. And I hope that this message resonates because I know some of you guys listening to the sound of my voice, you're in denial about what's possible for you too. And the beautiful thing about the way God designed us all is that he designed us to be interdependent. And believe it or not, your denial is actually slowing down someone else's fulfillment of their dreams, their gifts, their talents, and them living up to the fullest potential, because we're all connected, right? I'm walking in my purpose right now, doing this podcast, and something that I'm to say today, tomorrow, or at some point is supposed to spark something in you, the listener, to activate something inside of you to get you closer to your fullest potential. That's how God made us. He made us to be interdependent, dependent on each other, right? That potential of me fulfilling my mission by saying a word that will spark something in you is what drives me to get up every day to do this podcast. Don't deny the possibility of what you can become, what's possible for you. Everything that you need is already on the inside of you, and everything that you're going through is for the development of the things that are already on the inside of you, so that you can better utilize them for the accomplishment of the mission and ultimately his glory. So that is the quote of the 1 minute motivation right here on the Cortez Hustle Show, brought to you by BlackBizSuccess.com. It is the all-in-one sales and marketing software solution specifically designed with Black business owners in mind. You need tools, you need templates, you need training to help you win in this thing that we call entrepreneurship, this thing that we call business. You want to add some high tech to go along with your high touch. Go to BlackBizSuccess.com. We have a Labor Day special that has been extended. And guess what? You can try any of our plans for 10% down for the first 30 days, right? That's as little as $9.70 to get started. So check out BlackBizSuccess.com. All right, we're continuing on this journey talking about leadership, right? And we just talked about the power and the importance of having a written plan. What is the challenge of having that written plan, right? Exemplary leaders use written and specific goals to develop a keen sense of balance in themselves and the members of their team. The pathway to this unique sense of balance is the road to becoming a total person. To become a total person and a complete leader, first focus on achieving your full potential as an individual. Second, commit to growing personally by setting and striving towards achieving challenging goals in 6 key areas of your life. What are the 6 key areas of becoming a total person? Family, financial, mental, physical, social, and spiritual. Each of these 6 areas demands excellence from all of us, and each area is a benchmark of the total person process. When leaders display a lopsided existence, the integrity of their leadership is compromised as well. Individuals who are deficient in one or more areas of life tend to warp and distort the other areas. What are the goals that you have for your family? Family goals affect you and those you love. They are usually goals that guide your interaction, define your commitment, and create a cohesive sense of worth and bind you to those you care about. What are the goals and the plans you have for your money? You guys do realize if you don't have any plans for your money, everybody else does. When you don't have a plan for your money, everybody else does. Financial goals affect earnings, savings, and investments. Financial goals govern how you earn, acquire, and use financial leverage. Financial goals also relate to career advancement, business contribution, and your personal legacy to those you love. What do your financial goals look like? And remember, it's not just, oh, I want to make 10,000 a month, 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month. Okay, that's the goal. It's written in a clear and concise manner, but now you got to put a deadline and a target on it. Now you got to have a summary of the benefits to be gained and losses to be avoided. Then you got to have a summary of possible obstacles to the achievement of that goal. And then you got to have step-by-step plan to getting to that number. Right? And I'm just talking to myself. I'm just talking out loud. Mental goals. Mental goals focus on expanding the mind. Mental goals allow you to gather knowledge that leads to improvement of your spirit and condition. Mental goals direct your quest for mastery of any subject or skill. Mental goals guide you towards intellectual pursuits and help you experience the true joy of learning. What are your mental goals? Right? Speaks to who are you trying to become? Do you have a future picture of yourself? And are you working towards that? Right? Physical goals. Physical goals help you to improve your body. Physical goals govern the kind of physical shape you are in or wish to attain. Physical goals may also focus on recreation and sporting activities you enjoy. Physical goals deal with your overall health and fitness. And a lot of times, your physical goals can be stress reduction activities as well. Social goals strengthen your ability to interact personally with others. They help you engage in new and different experiences, meet new people, and accept new challenges to live and work with others. We're talking about the 6 main areas of becoming a total person. And this is important for leadership because how many of you guys have seen a leader that's excellent in one place, but they've got holes in their abilities in other places, right? You want to be completely whole and a total person as a leader. Spiritual goals affect your relationship with your creator. These goals bind you to whatever faith you profess. Spiritual goals create and tie you to certain ethical standards of moral behavior and conduct. Spiritual goals can help you express your own religious philosophy. These are the 6 areas of life: financial, mental, physical, social, spiritual, and family. Are you working towards becoming the best person you possibly can become in these 6 areas, right? We call this the wheel of life. Now, what happens if you neglect one of these areas, right? Regardless of their level of effectiveness, leaders are often extraordinarily busy people. Indeed, you may feel that you are already running at peak potential and that you have no more time, no more energy, and no more effort to give to becoming more than you are. It is, however, a grave mistake to ignore various areas of your life simply because you believe you cannot spare the time or effort required to develop them. Why? Because you have probably not yet reached your second win. This second win, as athletes know, only shows itself when the first win has been completely exhausted. Have you really pushed yourself to the place where you feel that you can go no further? That's the only place the second win kicks in. Additionally, believing that you need not devote time and attention to a certain area of life co-signs you to a future in one or more other areas, co-signs you to failure in one or more areas. A basic human tragedy is that most of the individuals have a severely limited belief in themselves and their potential for success. What is your belief in you like these days? What is your belief in your own potential like these days? Have you drank the Kool-Aid that says that you are average, mediocre, your best days are behind you and not in front of you? I'm just talking to myself. I'm just talking out loud. Just talking to myself. You guys just get to hear how I talk to myself. Remember, 90% of all failure comes from quitting. But the reverse is also true. You are 90% of the way to your goals the moment you commit yourself to their achievement. When you take quitting off the table, there's two things that I've done that I think have helped me get to this far, that helped me be as consistent as I have been for the last 8 years, right? Two things I've done. First thing I've done is I've taken affinity to the P90X way of marketing, right? P90X, if you're familiar with the exercise routine, and they were really big in the late 90s and early 2000s, and man, you got that P90X workout, you watch those commercials, those infomercials for 30 minutes. They tried their best to discourage you from buying their product. They told you how hard the workouts were going to be, right? They showed you that it's going to be mentally exhausting for you to go through this training. And they didn't hold anything back. They literally showed you, right? A lot of times, most exercise programs are trying to bait you into buying the program based on how easy and effortless it is to actually work out. They went the reverse, and it worked extremely well, because they only wanted to attract people who are willing to put their bodies through that kind of pain and torture, because they knew that if you're willing to go that hard, you're going to get the results. And if you get the results, of course, they never have to send you your money back. So one of the things that I've done is I've already reserved in my mind that what God has for me to do is going to be difficult. Some of us are setting ourselves up for failure because we have begun to believe that the things that we're trying to do, they're going to be easy. And the first sign of challenge that shows up, you tuck tail and run. Because you lied to yourself in the beginning. You told yourself it was going to be easy. So you weren't anticipating any challenges. I, on the other hand, have told myself that it's going to be incredibly difficult to pull this off. But I'm going to do it anyway. So that's the first thing. I've already accepted the fact that it's going to be difficult. The second thing that I've done is I've made a declaration and a proclamation that I'm going to finish the race, that I will not quit. And that helps me get up every morning. That helps me put in the work, put forth the effort. I've already come to the conclusion that it's not going to be easy. And I've decided Even though I know that it's not going to be easy, I've decided to do it anyway. And that word decision is very critical, because when you make a decision, you make a commitment. What is that commitment? The word decision is the opposite of the word incision. Decision means to cut away. Incision means to cut in. Decision means to cut out or to cut away. I've decided that although it's going to be hard, I'm going to do it anyway. And what happens is when you make a decision, or in other words, when you make a commitment, then a lot of choices go out the window. See, some of you guys are compromising with yourself every day, and you're giving yourself choices every day. And the only reason you have to deal with choices every day is because you haven't made a decision. You haven't committed. Once you commit, there is no choice. There is no choice for me to not show up because I've committed. There is no choice for me to not study the mindset and the challenges of Black entrepreneurs, because I've committed to helping Black people become the #1 employers of Black people in the next 2 generations. So if I have to study, then I have no choice but to study. If I have to network, even though I'm an introvert by nature and I don't particularly care for being in networking events, I try to go to 1 or 2 every month. I have no choice but to go to 1 or 2 every month, because I made a commitment to serve this community. It's hard to show up. It's hard to serve a community that you won't show up for. Right? So you got to understand that A, is going to be difficult. And B, you got to take quitting off the table. A, is going to be difficult, and you got to decide that you're going to do it anyway. And B, you got to take quitting off the table. As highly effective leaders, as a highly effective leader, you recognize not only those talents and abilities you put on display, but also the hidden weaknesses that you seldom think about or admit. Were you to continue to hide your deficiencies, they could well sabotage your efforts to become a balanced individual. Ultimately, they might affect your success and the success of those you lead. So, yes, I'm trying to become whole in those 6 areas, but I have to be self-aware. And these are the things that I don't do so well. These are the things that I don't like doing. These are the things that challenge me in a way that I don't like to be challenged, right? There's no way to achieve a clear-cut goal unless you begin with a clear-cut mental picture of the result the goal will produce. Do you see yourself, right? Do you see yourself? Do you have a clear picture of your future self? I've never been into vision boards, particularly myself. I do understand that they work, right? But one thing very few people put on their vision boards is the person, a picture of the person that they need to become in order to do the things that need to be done to achieve the mission. We put a lot of things on our vision board that say, hey, I want to have this, I want to go on this trip. But do we ever put on that vision board, I need to become this type of human being, right? And I can't remember the entrepreneur that said this first, but he said, if you're trying to make $1 million, the first thing you got to do is become a 7-figure human being. And that was so profound to me. See, most of us are operating backwards. We're trying to have based on what we do, but we are human beings. You got to become first. If you want to have more, you got to become more. So when I heard that, I said, man, made me start to ask myself, Cortez, are you a seven-figure human being? As a human being, do you bring the type of value to the lives of everyday people that you come in contact with that will be the equivalent of the value that a $1 million entrepreneur would bring to the marketplace? Are you a seven-figure entrepreneur? Are you a seven-figure human being? Because you'll never be a seven-figure entrepreneur if you're not. So I'm working on becoming more, because that increases my capacity to do more. And the result of doing more is having more, right? If you guys are not following Dr. Myron Golden, you guys are missing out on an amazing treat, right? He talks a lot about inputs and outputs, right? Having more is an output of doing, right? The input for having is doing, right? But in order to do more, there's an input required. You got to become more. Becoming more is the input to doing more. Doing more is the output of the input of becoming more. Right now, you are doing based on who you are. If you want to do more, you got to become more. And the output of becoming more is your capacity to do more. And the output of your capacity to do more is your capacity to have more. Your life must meet these 5 criteria if they are true goals. Odds are your goals are wishes, vague, uninformed to some degree. First criteria, goal must be written and specific. Second criteria, the goal you set must be your own personal goals. I remember when I first got online and I was trying to figure out this money thing and what I was going to do and what I was going to bring to the market and what I wanted to achieve. I remember everybody that you talked to was trying to get to the elusive 10K a month. Like that was just the thing. That was just 10K, just 10K, just 10K. And I started to ask myself, is that what I really want? No, that's not what I want. That wasn't my personal goal. That was someone else's personal goal that I adopted. Guess what? You gotta have your own personal goal. It's got to be your own. Third criteria, your goal must be stated positively. While you are able to form a clear mental picture of yourself taking some positive action, it is impossible to see yourself not doing something. Your goal must create a vivid mental image, an image of you taking action to achieve them. Fourth criteria, goals must be realistic and attainable. This is not to say that your goals you set in any area of life must be commonplace or ordinary. Indeed, a mediocre goal will hold little motivation for you. A realistic goal represents an objective towards which you are both willing and able to work. Fifth, goals you set must include personality changes. It goes back to you becoming more, right? The person that you are today is not even capable of solving the problems that exist in your life. How do I know? Because if you were capable, you would have already solved them by now. In order to solve the problems that you are faced with today, you have to become more, period. There's a lot of ways to become more. You can read books, you can get mentors, you can change the places that you go. Everything that you consume has a contributing factor to you becoming more or less. So your goals must include that personal transformation, that continuous growth and stretching, right? That's what we're talking about. So when we come back tomorrow, we're going to talk about, let's see, the steps to becoming a total person, right? We're going to hit on that tomorrow, and then we're going to, yeah, that might take up all of tomorrow's show. So, as always, man, I love you guys for showing up for me and giving me someone to talk to. But as I say all the time, this is me having a dialogue with and for myself for the things that I need to see growth in myself personally. And chances are some of you guys are looking to grow in some of these areas as well. And that's what causes you to tune in and hang out with your boy. As always, guys, I want you to remember, take a look at blackbizsuccess.com. It's a serious software for entrepreneurs who are looking to increase their online presence. This book is called The 5 Pillars of Leadership by Paul J. Meyer and Randy Slechta. The 5 Pillars of Leadership. Right? It is a great work on leadership, of course, but some of the underlying reasons that prevent us from becoming the best versions of leaders that we can become, right? It's really good, right? So that's why I wanted to do this review. This is probably my 4th or 5th time reading it. And as I continue to grow and evolve, I swear it's things in this book that I've read this time. I swear they weren't in there last time. Yes, they were. I just hadn't evolved to the place where it caught my attention the last time. So I'm focused on becoming a better leader for my family, of course, for my business and my company, my community, my church. Like all of those things are important to me. So this is a good read. So check out blackbizsuccess.com if you are in business and you're looking to add some automation, some different tools and resources to help you optimize your online presence, increase your lead flow so that you can grow your revenue. Also, for those of you who do not have a business yet, or you're looking to make a transition into a new business, we're talking about why software as a service is the hottest business model that exists today. And I have a way for you to start a software company with $0 out of pocket, and we'll help you get your first monthly recurring revenue client in 30 days. We're doing a webinar on that this coming Saturday. Comment webinar if you're interested, and I'll make sure you get that link. Appreciate you guys always for tuning in. Until I talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. More importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up. But you've got to overcome fear if you're going to win.
You're tuned into the Cortez Hustle Show. Please like and subscribe.